Yo, welcome to another episode of Straight Facts. This is the most important episode of Straight Facts. So we just talked about everything from police brutality to how we as the black community and like just people in general reacted to it. That was phase one. Now this is phase two, which is the solution. We're going to talk about how we can fix this and how we got the world attention, what we're going to do with it. Tell a friend, subscribe, turn your notifications on and all that. Let's get to it.
I think the first step to phase two, which is finding a solution within our control, within our community, is identifying what our issues are that we can fix, within our community, and then checking the leaders. We have a lot of black leaders that have platforms, they have a lot of money, and I think that they need to come from, wherever they're at, and they need to make sure that they do their job to start pouring money back into, us.
Phase two is more so about a lot of things we missing is home base because they broken up the home. It's either single parent, grandparents, or it might just be a single dad. It's not a two-parent home like that really. So I think that's what's really, you gotta start from basics. Because for example, like I said in one of the episodes, they teach you to get your money and to leave. When you get your money and leave, you're not helping your people. So that's resources that the community could use that's not there. They gotta teach their kids, yo, get your money and stay. Get your money and build your own. Even if you're not living in the hood, get your money and come back and rebuild the hood. You don't have to live in the hood to rebuild the hood. So that's a big thing too. And you also gotta trust your people. Because a lot of black people, we don't trust each other. Like we love each other, go through a lot of bullshit to see that it's actually love, but we don't trust each other. Because a lot of black people, they get their money, they're not coming together to put that money together. Some are, but a lot are not. You gotta trust each other because I gotta know that if I give my money to Kaiser gonna take the money and do something good with it. And if I give my money to Clay, he gonna do something good with it and do all that. But instead, we'd rather go outside of our community because we trust them, but they would never do that for us.
Like LeBron is a great example. Like if you keep how he moved growing up, he literally got money. Like he could have just got money like any other athlete and that just did that. But no, he didn't just give his boys money. He put them all in ownership positions, and I think that's definitely a step we need to do. Learn how to have ownership. Black people, we don't own anything. That's why we got money, but we don't own anything. So once I feel like we have ownership and stuff, I feel like that's when we can really escalate and stuff like that.
First step of phase two, going forward after the protests, is we need to learn our history. So that things don't repeat themselves. We need to learn where we come from, things that have been done to suppress us, things we overcame, and exactly how that was accomplished. Next, we need to have difficult conversations within our own community, with ourselves, to talk to each other about what's not right, how we can improve, and that we have to bring everyone to the table in that respect. We have to mobilize and find a direction under one voice and really use the power of our voice and our dollar in society, because we control a lot of the market. If we can take our dollar and decide, we're going to support, we're going to buy this, we're not going to support, we're not going to buy that. I think that'll really help the black community long term, because when we invest in banks in our community, owning houses like Kaiser said, that can really change the projection of our race going forward when we start to own things and we're no longer renting renting spaces and empowering other families and things like that.
I think some people understand that we have money, but I don't think they understand the type of wealth we have, because you might be broke, don't mean everybody else is broke. That's facts, because black people, if we was a country, if black people in America was a country, they'll be one of the wealthiest countries in the world.
If not the wealthiest.
So you have countries out here that are they doing alright and they're not even at our level financially, just black Americans, just black people in America. So we could really shift culture and shift everything if we start not blowing the bag. Because in our culture, we have this blow the bag mentality. Blow the bag. Like this, you get celebrated for basically fucking up your money. If you're blowing the bag on your own, then cool. That means somebody else is keeping that money that looks like you. We blow the bag on everybody but people that look like us. People that come from where we come from. People that grow up how we grow up. So we're not even just blowing the bag. We blowing the bag on, I don't want to say the oppressors, because every white person is not a racist, but we blowing the bag basically in a system that's oppressing us.
They were saying they support black businesses. But they couldn't even tell me one black business that they support. It's just a saying. So until you actually live by it, nothing's gonna change. We gotta I usually hate when people we gotta fix ourselves when they're talking about racism and all that stuff, because there's a lot of things more that specific. But if we're talking about what's next for our community, then like we gotta really like look within ourselves for that.
We kind of have to put ourselves in those leadership roles. So trying to, you know, change the system or whatever it is from the inside out. So we gotta, you know, go and be judges. We gotta go and be, you know, all these politicians, because without that and without us actually applying pressure to the system that's oppressing us, there's nothing that we can really do. It's just going to be a continuous cycle, and which is why we are in this continuous cycle, because it's like we apply
Blueprint
pressure.
is already out there. Like the Jewish community is one of the richest communities in the world.
The richest, bro.
And we already know they had a major oppression with the Holocaust. So how did they get to the top so quickly? Like they didn't go migrate to other rich communities and wherever it can make. No, they stuck to themselves and build their own communities. So and they had. I mean, I'm not gonna say which one's worse, slavery or Holocaust, but it's very detrimental. So if they could make that. They can make it out of genocide like that by staying within their own community, putting money back into their hoods, into their neighborhoods, and
I want to note that, you know, there was a time we did have our prominent black communities. You look at, you know, Black Wall Street. Even Central Park in New York was once a black town that was, you know, they used eminent domain to reclaim it. They literally built a park over it. You know, Black Wall Street was burned to the ground. There was a neighborhood in Philadelphia, you know, where black people mobilized and, you know, tried to come together and, you know, take some power back, and they burned that to the ground. So I don't want to pretend, you know, that we've never mobilized or used our voice before. But I believe that, you know, it's time for us to do it once again. Now that we have, you know, other avenues like social media, you know, text messages, just instant communication where we can really unite. You know, there's mass media, music, movies, TV. There's just so many different things where we can grab each other's attention and make people look at things for a while. We have so much momentum with Black Lives Matter. You know, like policies are being changed right this moment to support us. So while we have the world's attention, we need to bring forth our demands, and we need to talk to our people and have those difficult conversations as to what happens next. We need to have a lot of empathy with each other, you know, and because of what we've been through, we've been disenfranchised, displaced. You know, a lot of us have rage, you know, just out to the world. We're upset because of the position we're in, and a lot of that rage, unfortunately, because of vicinity, you know, gets directed at each other. You know, and we need to reach out to each other and not look down upon each other. You know, regardless of our status or wealth, we need to come together as black men, black women, black children, and then really find our voice and mobilize.
Investments I made, and I made a lot of investments in the last few years of my life. It was me gaining my time back and being able to have time to pour into myself so I can be able to pour into others. So I think we need to get our time back. I think we need to spend more time with our kids. I think we need to spend more time, if not helping our kids with our homework, we need to start educating our kids more on our own. You know what I'm saying? I think we need to teach kids. And the thing about the system that we live in, there's a lot of things that we can take from this system and add to our system, right? And I think we need to teach each other how that works, like credit, things like that, financial literacy. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of friends that are into real estate. I have a lot of friends that are entrepreneurs. I have a lot of friends that work for themselves. So like, even on top of the Black Lives Matter, we have momentum with, you know, a lot of black businesses, social media, the platforms that we have, you know, athletes like LeBron James, you know, even Michael Jordan himself. Like, it's a lot of people that you know, empower people, Jake.
This is a message to the black people that's not celebrities, entertainers, none of that, right? When you think about it back in the day, it wasn't, I feel like now we have so much emphasis on we look at the celebrities to do stuff, which they should, because a lot of times they come up off black people. We don't want supporting them. We don't want making them hot. So they should look out, but they shouldn't be doing all the work.
Exactly.
I'm talking to you, the person right there that you see them kids every day hanging out around the corner, they hanging out at the store, you see them, you know they need help, but what you do, you get in your car, you drive past them, and you talk shit, and you tell your kid not to be like them. Why don't you pull them to the side? Why don't you give them a couple dollars and say, yo, y'all hungry? Why don't you take their numbers and check in? You, the person that works that 9 to 5, you, every single day person. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and them, they wasn't celebrities. They became known because of the work they was doing in their community. They were regular, everyday humans. Because people think, oh man, I'm a 9 to 5, I only make $60,000, how much can I do? No, you could do a lot. You could do a whole lot. Stop just standing there and you blaming these celebrities. Like I said, they should help, because a lot of them, they on funny time. But they should help, but you need to, dog, you don't have to change the world. Just change your people around you. Even if you, 5 kids a year. 5 kids, you check up on them. You make sure their household is good. You make sure they got groceries in their crib. You making sure they go to school every day. That right there could change the world. Stop looking at celebrities. That's another thing, because celebrities can only do so much. Just because they have a talent, their talent might not be to educate. The talent could just be singing, playing basketball. Just because you know how to put a ball in a hoop don't mean you could change the world about fucking economics. So every single person, you do your part and stop just standing there and be like, well, I can't really do much. No, help your brother, help your sister.
Points that you made, because I always make this point about Kaepernick. I've never seen Kaepernick as an activist. I mean, I guess that's what he is now out the league, but I've never seen him as an activist. I just saw him as somebody who spoke up. Like, he saw something was wrong and he stood up about it. So if everybody in a difficult situation, like, yo, you see something wrong in your job, you might not want to speak out against your boss, like, yo, we got to speak up against this stuff. So if we have to be labeled as an activist and all this stuff, then it is what it is. But whenever you see equality, like inequality in a situation, like, we have to speak up against it, or we're just going to keep on being suppressed. Because people spitting off in black people's faces every day, and we just suck it up. So like, at some point we gotta stand up on our 10 toes.
Like, one of the most important things we really gotta do is just educate ourselves. I mean, at this point, that's the only way that we're able to grow. Educate ourselves about our history, about what's going on in the world today, what we do to help others, education, and just growing and maintaining those relationships. That's even with people who don't look like you. That's the reason why we in this, because people don't want to take the time out their day to, talk to and have relations with people that don't look like them. So they have this in their mind where, he don't look like me, he don't think like me, he's just a thug, or he's this and that, but you ain't even talk to the person, so you will never know what it's like. You never know what it's like being in their shoes. So educate yourself and grow relationships. Talk to people, get out your comfort zone, saying things like that. That's the next step for us.
Looking for the people that are breadwinners to contribute more to the people that aren't. I have the saying, it's better if, I would rather everyone in the world give $1 versus one person give $1 million. It would make so much more of a difference. Like, you don't have to give a lot, you don't have to do a lot. Just a little from everybody would make a huge difference in what we're going through and why we're in the situation that we're in, and it would help a lot.
Now is definitely the best time I think there's ever been to be heard as a single person. Hashtags, mass media, like I said, television, music, movies, instant messaging, text messaging, etc. It gives us the tools to be heard. So it takes a small moment of your day to reach out to the next black man, the next black woman, show some empathy, to see yourself in them, see yourself in their shoes, see yourself where they live, where they come from, what they've been through, and try to uplift them, educate them, and help our people become one so that we can use our voice in unison, and apply pressure to politicians, to the media, to teachers, principals, apply pressure to anyone who, is obstructing us to remove some of those barriers for our youth, because they're the next generation. We need to look long term into what we're going to leave behind. Not living in the moment and trying to garner as much wealth for yourself, but think about what you're going to leave behind your neighbor's kids, your grandchildren, etc. We need to start building legacies, and not just worried about instant gratification.
Good shit.